Hello and welcome to Best Picture Brain Rot, a podcast series where three friends attempt the impossible, watching every single Best Picture winner in chronological order before the 100th Oscars while slowly losing our grip on reality.
Follow along as we give ourselves cinematic brain damage by watching every Best Picture in order from the very first winner, Wings, to whatever the Academy picks in 2028.
There are 95 weeks until the 100th Oscars, and today we are going to talk about Cavalcade. Surprises, disappointments, hot takes, and plenty of brain rot.
We are your hosts, Adam,
Sarah,
and Drew.
Our sixth Academy Award winner for Best Picture is Cavalcade, which takes us all the way to London, innit?
Nice.
No!
This movie follows two British families chronicling recent history of the Empire, starting on New Year's Eve of 1899, all the way up to the year of the movie's release, 1933. There's a lot of historical events that get covered, but we'll talk about those during the recap. The best way to explain it is it's like a British Forrest Gump, for better, or more accurately, for much worse. So, Cavalcade. The movie itself is a...
Stinker!
I would say it's a historical mishmash.
Stinker. Historical stinker.
All right, well, Sarah's made her opinions known. I may agree with them, but you'll have to wait to see.
We'll
You
see.
do.
We'll see.
But like I said, it's a movie that is inextricably linked with British history. It's the most British movie to win the Oscar up to this point.
Yeah.
And it's an incredibly British
Until maybe
movie.
the King's Speech.
Yeah, or like the English Patient.
There you go. Well, that's in Italy.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Yeah. We'll
But
get there.
I will.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a million other British movies that win. I mean, like Hamlet,
Shakespeare. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. Also a handful.
But
of
this is the first most British movie to ever win.
A staple of
To
the,
who?
of the Best Picture pantheon. It's like you gotta
if you're
have.
making a list of all the super British movies to win Best Picture, this would be on the list.
Sure would.
That's what I have to say about Cavalcade.
That's literally it.
It played when I pressed play.
No, it's a pretty straightforward movie. You're following a family. You're following the aristocratic family, but then also the servants.
Yes, the Marriotts and the Bridges.
Yes, you're following them basically throughout the historical events from 1899 up until the present day at the time, 1933.
I do like how it really starts literally New Year's Eve, 1899, leading into 1900. That's a fun little thing.
It's like that 70s show. I believe they punctuate, at the very least they ended on a New Year's like, oh, 1979. Wonder what the 80s are going to be like. It's a classic little device.
It's a trope. I mean, they use it in When Harry Met Sally.
Exactly.
They love New Year's in that one.
Yeah.
Sarah's cringing the fact that I'm tying this movie with one of her favorites.
Don't connect with me. Stop connecting with me. That means a lot. Don't do that.
Yeah.
No, that actually, thank you. Shout out.
Good movie.
WHMS.
So, Drew, do you want to give us some historical context around this one?
Yes. So this period, both the period that Cavalcade was made in, but also a big chunk that they cover and what the movie is steeped in, is a period known as interwar Britain. And this is a period of British history from 1918 to 1939, although Cavalcade extends as early as 1899, beginning at the turn of the century, and it brings it to the modern day at the time, which is 1933. But just so you understand the tone of Britain around this time when they're making this movie, between the Great War and World War II, Britain experienced some growing pains as a nation, as did a lot of the world. It's an oft-forgotten sort of in-between part of history between the two great world wars. It was during this time that a lot of changes happened. The partition of Ireland was enacted. Politically, Britain saw the collapse of its Liberal Party and the rise of the Labour Party as a new alternative to the Tories. Many areas of Britain experienced long-term unemployment at a large scale, specifically in the mining districts of Scotland and Northern England. In general, Britain was affected by the Great Depression like much of the Western world, although to a slightly lesser degree compared to, say, America. Some of this might have to do with the fact that interwar Britain was the absolute peak of the British Empire. New colonies ceded to Britain after World War I, often from Germany, including in East Africa, Britain held territory in pretty much every single time zone, hence the moniker that we often use for the British Empire, the empire where the sun never sets. Colonies on North America, South America, Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia, and probably not Antarctica. But maybe an expedition or two down there. Socially, though, this is where British society saw perhaps the greatest changes was during this interwar period. There was greater class consciousness among the workers, creating the Labour Party. The women's suffrage movement made serious headway. Contraceptives became more readily available and were sold by local chemists. The idea of the chaperone for young women became less common, which, for those who don't know, is the idea of like when a young woman goes out into public, specifically an unbetrothed woman, she goes with a chaperone.
There's like a guy hired to just like shadow her.
Often an older, like matronly woman. Often a mother or like an aunt or whatever. Just an older woman would often accompany her anywhere that she
Women supporting women.
Yeah. But overall, deference for the aristocracy and traditional social order kind of began to ebb. It was much like America during this time as a period of significant progressivism, socially, economically, and politically. And such is the crucible within which Cavalcade was created. We'll go into a little bit more detail about like specific historical events because that's a very big part of this plot. But overall, that is the context of which and why someone might feel the need to make a movie like this during this particular time.
Thank you, Drew. Did they need to make this movie?
No. Plot is a very bold word to be using in this situation.
Well, this movie may have less of a plot, according to Sarah, but it does have a cast and a crew.
So getting into the production, Fox actually sent Movietone newsreel cameramen to London to film the original stage production because this was originally a stage production, so they could use it as a guide when adapting it into a movie. The director changed early on. Frank Borzage was originally attached but left in 1932, and the studio brought in Frank Lloyd, Frank for Frank.
There's a lot of Franks this year.
Frank on Frank crime.
There's actually more Frank on Frank crime that happens at this Oscars, and I'm super excited to tell you about it.
Oh no!
You know, funny thing is, Frank Borzage, he is a 2-time Best Director winner at this point. He's like the Best Director darling so far.
Yeah.
He won the first ever one, and he won the year before this one.
Okay. So the studio brought in Frank Lloyd instead, partly because they wanted a British director for such a distinctly English story. It was also one of the earlier films to use words like damn and hell, which caused some concern with the Hayes office at the time about setting a precedent. The studio defended it as mild and appropriate, of course. And interestingly, that debate ended up influencing how language was handled in films going forward.
It is insane that this movie would be considered edgy in like any way, which is wild. I am stoked to talk about the Hayes Code.
Stuffy little movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then music-wise, it did a lot. The film uses over 50 songs, including popular tunes, hymns, and national anthems from different time periods to help track the passage of time and historical shifts.
The play itself that Noel Coward wrote was a musical.
Oh.
Yeah. There was a lot more original Noel Coward music in the play version. It was also
the Boer Wars. Everyone's fighting in the Boer Wars.
I don't get it.
That's not even a reference. It just sounds like a song that they would do.
Yeah.
Musical.
Oh.
I love it. Yeah.
But I thought that was fascinating. They cut most of the original music for this movie.
Yeah. This ship is sinking.
Getting into the crew, starting with the director, Frank Lloyd. He was a Scottish-born director who became one of the most reliable prestige filmmakers of early Hollywood. Lloyd was known for handling big, emotional, historically grounded stories, films that felt important.
Term we've used before.
Yes. And elevated, which was exactly what studios wanted in the early Oscar era, apparently. And then we have the writer, playwright, Noel Coward, which, sorry, that's your last name. One of the most famous British playwrights of the 20th century, he was known for his sharp wit and sophisticated dialogue. Coward's original play was more intimate and stage-driven. The film adaptation keeps his emotional core but scales it up into something much more epic. Then we have Diana Wynyard as Jane Marriott. She was a British stage actress who transitioned into film. She brings a very restrained, proper emotionality that fits the stiff upper lip tone, even when everything around her is completely falling apart. Yeah, just British stage actress turned film actress, classic. Clive Brook as Robert Marriott, a well-known leading man of early sound cinema, often cast as composed, authoritative figures. His performance here, it's very controlled. He's basically trying to hold together a world that keeps shifting underneath him. And then we have Una O'Connor as Ellen Bridges. This woman was quite the diva.
She was the mother of the poor family.
Yes, I believe so, yeah. I found her to be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but, that's her vibe.
There's one scene where she has a huge emotional reaction.
Yeah.
And Alexis was like, she's no Jessie Buckley.
No, but I remember she just kept fake wiping tears by just like touching her eyes. And I'm like, you're not fooling anybody. But yeah, O'Connor became known for playing very anxious, high-strung characters, comical wives, housekeepers, servants. She later shows up in The Bride of Frankenstein as Minnie, who's the servant of Henry and Elizabeth Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And you can already see the energy here.
She's a little freak.
She's a little freak.
Yeah. Kind of sticks out.
Yeah.
But I guess that's maybe the point of the juxtaposition between like the more kooky, when you're poor, you can be a little kookier, especially in Britain.
Especially in Britain. I love the character actors, though, that pop up in these movies. I feel like consistently it's been women except for Herbert Schwimfer or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, some fun side characters overall.
Agreed.
In all the movies.
And then last we have Herbert Munden as Alfred Bridges. English character actor who highlights the working class perspective of the film. His character helps show the class divide that runs quietly throughout, given Cavalcade isn't just about one family. It's about the whole society shifting. Not much else about him. A lot of these actors are honestly just stage actors who were in film all of a sudden. Very different from our last film, where it was like star-studded craziness. But Herbert Munden was in fact buried at Inglewood Park Cemetery in Inglewood, Los Angeles County, California, Plot Charter Oak section, Lot 117.
Okay.
I heard they displaced him to put SoFi Stadium.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably, that might be the graveyard that's right near the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew I felt a draft the last time I was there.
That's
Herbert Munden?
You felt the hot breath of a British alcoholic breathing down your neck.
He haunts the halls of the YouTube theater.
And that's a wrap on Guessing Group.
Thank you, Sarah.
Can I give one fun fact before we really get started? This film was reportedly Adolf Hitler's favorite movie. Apparently, during 1934, he and Joseph Goebbels, the director of Nazi propaganda films, watched the film twice.
That is so weird to me.
Yeah.
No, that is so like that Hitler. Like, that is such classic Hitler. Like,
That's Adolf.
That's Adolf.
I will say, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I did say this is a more conservative movie.
It's a little bit more conservative, but also it is very much mourning the insanity that was wrought post World War I.
Oh, the empire is crumbling
Exactly.
because of what happened. So
exactly. It's one of those movies that's like celebrating the idea of empire and lamenting any loss of that, etc. So it fits into the psyche a little bit. I will say
why this sick man would grab so much, even though I'm assuming he hated the British.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to really psychoanalyze Hitler too much for this podcast. We'll save that for Nick Fuentes.
Well, I would say we will take that into consideration when we are rating this movie.
Yes.
For our own purposes.
Yes.
What would Adolf do?
What are Hitler's 4 favorites, huh? Tell us more about Hitler's favorite movie, Adam.
So Hitler's favorite movie starts, like I said, the New Year's Eve of 1899. There are very distinct acts within this movie, so I think it will be most helpful to go through everything chronologically. I will say during this first scene, which is a very short introduction to the two families on this New Year's Eve, we meet, as we have mentioned, the rich Marriotts, who own a large mansion in London, and the Bridges, who are the family who serves them. It's a very Downton Abbey style relationship between the two of them. They're very familiar, though. Like, they're almost friends, which is ignoring, many of the dynamics that are inherent in a relationship like that. I'm not sure if that was very common back in turn of the 20th century England, that they would be consorting with their...
With the help?
Yeah, with their help.
I'm thinking of, like, just SoCal aristocracy, too, and, like, every... Like, it's always a thing where they're like, no, we're buddies. But it's like...
Me and my au pair.
Yeah, like, there is a rapport that at least does get built, I think, depending on the dynamic there. I would believe it.
That makes sense.
It's like, as long as you stay in your place, we can be friends.
We're introduced to these characters, and the big hinge point at this point in the movie, this point in history, is that the two men, the two patriarchs of these families, are going off to the Boer War.
Yeah.
Which, Boer is spelled B-O-E-R, not what Sarah was feeling throughout the duration of this movie. But Drew, would you like to give us a bit of historical context into what the Boer War was?
Yeah, just a little bit, because this is probably something that a lot of British people are familiar with, but not a lot of Americans. It's much more significant for British history, I suppose. The Boers are a group of white settlers that they basically settled down in Africa, South Africa, Southern Africa.
Originally Dutch.
Originally,
correct?
Yes. Originally, they're mostly Dutch colonists and settlers. They effectively developed really deep roots into the land there, staking their claim in this part of South Africa. At the same time, you have English settlers coming in for their own reasons, largely because of a gold rush that was happening. This led to a lot of jockeying, as with much of Africa at this time. A lot of jockeying for position among the colonial nations. The Boers, for the record, were not a Dutch colony. They were like a separate people, like the Pilgrims were sort of separating from
I thought they were state sponsored. That was always my understanding, but...
Well, at this point, like they were like a separate
right.
entity. This was a separate entity led by specifically a man named Paul Kruger at the time.
Who does get covered in this movie.
Yeah, which is Paul Kruger. Paul Kruger is the namesake, I believe, also for like Kruger National Park down there. He's basically the face of the Boers. This war is effectively one that is just being waged between two white settling peoples in South Africa over the land. At this point in the movie, you're about like halfway into all of it when a lot of the British settlements were basically besieged by Boers. And that is where at least the movie takes place. It's like that we are besieged. We must fight back. We must take back. I believe they're referencing a place called Mafeking, I believe.
Yeah, it's a city that needed to be taken.
Exactly.
Essentially, I'm assuming this was like Kruger's stronghold.
Exactly. So that is what they mean by the Boers. These are not native Africans. They are specifically a separate colonial people from...
the Africans were watching this and just like, these white people be crazy.
Yeah. Honestly, you could do a whole podcast just on the Boer Wars.
Oh, totally. I'm sure.
Like it's
I'm
very,
sure
very interesting.
It does sound like a really interesting setting to, explore. This movie is not interested in doing that.
No.
Instead, it focuses solely on the family staying behind at home. Before we move on, I do have one question I wanted to ask you, Drew. If you know, the fact that both patriarchs of these families, both the rich and the poor family, were both going to war. Mm-hmm. Do you know if this was a draft? Was this elective?
I believe...
At this point in history, I mean, again, it's pre-World War I. There's a lot of still patriotism as part of military service.
Yes.
So I was very curious about the nature of like why both of these men, despite the different social stratification, were both going to be a part of this war.
That is a great question.
It wasn't a draft.
Thank you.
I looked it up. I got it first. I win.
Okay.
No, the Boer War was not a draft for the British Empire, which relied on professional soldiers, colonial volunteers, and volunteers from Britain. While it was a war for volunteers and not mass conscription, high casualties did lead to discussions on compulsory service, which was ultimately rejected in favor of voluntary recruitment.
Thank you, Alexa.
Turn left.
But yeah, these men were probably volunteers in the army, and because
That makes sense.
this was the war at the time, that's where they were getting sent. There were probably, honestly, at the time, other colonial wars happening, but this one, like, really took, like,
People really
patriotic
cared about
precedent.
this one. Yeah. So, like, at the time, this was something that people would be really familiar with. Whereas now, watching it in the year of our Lord 2026, it's kind of like, what is this?
It feels like a
War I've
wholly
never heard of.
irrelevant. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Although
like the movie.
Yes.
Let me tell you, with these movies, I am bored of war.
Oh, got him.
The correct pronunciation might be boor, not boar.
Nah.
Bored. I'm bored of war.
Bored.
I'm bored of war.
Bored of war.
I'm bored of war.
Boer wars.
So, as we mentioned, this is not interested in exploring the Boer War itself. I think that could have been a very cool setting. But again, we're really focusing on the war at home. So, the first act of the movie is really the family waiting for these men to return home. They see the lists of published deaths. You know, they check those out. They need to make sure they haven't died. They didn't have social media. They didn't have...
Nice way to pass
They
the
check
time.
them out. It just sounds so... The movie was boring.
Read the funny pages.
Well, one woman faints,
Yeah.
you know, but the Marriotts and the Bridges, both their men return home. I would say the most notable part, and probably one of the only scenes of this movie that I really enjoyed and thought was cool, was the end of the war, which is signified by the families going to some sort of stage play.
Yes.
It's an incredibly long portrayal of the stage play, to the point where I was like, all right, guys, wrap this up. I don't know what is going on. But as the performers all come together for the end of the play, someone runs on from off stage and announces that the Boer War is over. They've taken Mafeking, and so they have achieved
It's
their goal.
over. They've taken Mafeking.
And the whole auditorium just erupts in applause. It was very similar to a few months ago when we went to Hadestown. And then during the intermission, we found out that the Dodgers had won the World Series.
Oh, what?
What? That's
People were
crazy.
going crazy.
I was going to compare it to like when BBC Radio is like playing techno music, but then they have to stop it and be like, we have news that the Queen is dead. And then they go right back into the music.
Yeah. I would say I did like this scene in the movie. I thought that was cool. I thought that was a little neat bit of history, and I think they portrayed it well, even if like the lead up to it was way too long.
Yeah.
Do you think that if there was an opera going on today and Timothée Chalamet interrupted it to say we won a war, do you think people would have trouble believing him?
Why would Timothée Chalamet be
No,
the
but do
one
you
to
think?
do this?
But do you think that they would think that he's pulling a stunt so like that nobody like wants to watch the opera anymore? Like he goes in there and he's like, "We won the war in Iran," and everyone's like,
It would be a marketing
This opera
stunt.
is over.
He would be walking in dressed in full orange and be like, Marty Supreme on streaming now.
"Yeah, yeah." Just a little food
Speaking
for thought.
After that, the war is over. The men return home, and both of them end up kind of in the same place where they were before. Everyone's a little bit older. They never really talk about the war. It's more just like a thing that happened.
Yeah.
So
that
just happened. I did a thing.
I did a thing. The Boer Wars.
You're probably wondering how I got into this situation. Though I do recall in this movie, the rich man Marriott, he's in a great place after this war. I think he's awarded a Medal of Honor or some such by the Queen for his service. Of course, Bridges didn't because he's poor.
Yeah.
They don't really do that. It's really just about the money.
Yeah.
Though the families stay close, the Marriotts stay rich, the Bridges separate from the Marriotts from service in order for the husband Albert to open his own bar.
Yeah. A pub.
A pub.
That's what we call it.
Yeah. And that's the second act of the movie, is really tracing the decline of Albert Bridges as he descends into alcoholism.
He flopped.
Womp, womp.
Womp womp. If you or someone you know is struggling with alcoholism, please call. I'm just kidding. I can say that I've had alcoholics in my family. Everybody calm down.
This is a pretty small part of the movie. The tone is very odd in how they handle it. There's a scene that I sort of liked where the Bridges are having dinner. Well, Mrs. Bridges is having dinner with some friends of theirs. They said that Albert couldn't come because he was working at the pub, where really he was just
getting half his own
drunk.
supply.
Yeah. And he slams the door and wanders in, and it's like, why didn't you tell me about this dinner? And then he's upset, so he runs outside into a large parade that's going on and gets run over by horses. Which is, I guess, less funny than it sounds, because he does die.
Now I know why Hitler liked this movie.
No, the only man with a mustache is killed by horses. I probably hated that part. That's
That's
one
a
scene.
movie we watched. That's the
I
movie we
assumed
watched.
that Albert Bridges was going to be a much more important part of the story before he died.
Yeah.
It's just kind of killing off a main character, but didn't really achieve shock value. It just made me go, huh?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that happened. And I watched
That
the
he
movie.
died?
Yeah.
You just, what do you think happened to him the rest of the movie?
I forgot.
Bro was on YouTube Shorts.
He can tell me exactly how many points he got in Subway Surfers.
Yeah.
But that's the second arc of the movie. The third arc is where it starts to get pretty unhinged, I would say. There's some stuff that I wouldn't say is good, but I would say is very fun in a stupid way. The rest of this movie is honestly very stupid. A lot of this movie is, to me, very stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we'll get to it in many, many weeks, but when we talk about Forrest Gump, I wonder if it'll play a similar way. Because it really does feel like that same sort of ethos.
It is Gumpian in its ethos.
Or would you say that Forrest Gump is Cavalcadian in its ethos?
Cavalcade-esque.
The third arc starts with a Segway scene, a beach holiday, where we meet this young couple who we're really given no context into, and it is the children of one of the children of the Marriotts grown up. Though I don't believe it ever says that. So I was very confused on why we were being introduced to these people at this point in the movie. But Marriotts are on a beach holiday. They run into the Bridges. They're essentially like, damn, sorry that your dad died.
No, your dad shouldn't be dead. You're too sexy.
Yeah.
No, why are you so sad?
Yeah, why are you so depressed?
That's pretty much that scene. I think it serves to show the rift between the two families, that they had essentially grown apart in the aftermath of Albert dying, that it's like, we still think about you. Mm-hmm. We have the hardest of cuts after this to my personal favorite scene. I would argue the only truly iconic scene from this movie, where these characters who we have met, one of the sons grown up and his wife, they are on their honeymoon.
Yeah.
On a boat.
Let's just say the year is 1912.
And they're saying, wow, it's so nice to be here with you. It would be a shame if anything happened.
Yeah.
And they walk out of frame, and we see on a life preserver, Titanic.
Yeah! Titanic reveal.
I knew, with the 1912, I had an inkling that was about to happen. And I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. I saw like a little brief hit of the letters on the life preserver, and it was like, oh, that's a T and an I. Oh, no.
That's fine.
You think they survived?
No. No, they canonically don't. They say in the movie, in one of my favorite lines, my favorite line comes later, where one of the sons says, I wish Edward hadn't drowned.
Yeah.
Just so nonchalantly. Do you guys want to hear probably the funniest thing about that scene?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Not in the play, written for the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. I mean, it's the best scene.
It was so
I would
funny.
argue.
It's not a. I mean, I will say it is the most iconic scene. It is not a good scene.
It is good. Yes, yeah.
Just like the zoom in at Titanic.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's overdosing on dramatic irony, but it feels so serious about it that it just feels stupid.
You
loved it.
just read it for filth.
It's one of those things. I often watch movies where I think, if I am in on the joke with the filmmaker, then this is good. It's funny. It's well done. But so often it feels that the filmmaker is not in on the joke themselves. Mm-hmm. So it just feels way too serious. And it's kind of then becomes embarrassing that they thought that they ate. Mm-hmm. But in fact, there were crumbs everywhere.
Right. But also, if you think about it, sometimes you just have chemistry with a director or a filmmaker. Maybe you and him don't have chemistry.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't get him.
It's just not your vibe.
It's not your vibe. It's true. Because
I don't get their humor.
Because I could get in on the joke and be like, they get what they're doing.
Yeah.
But then you also could not.
So do you guys think like this was a joke? Like, do you think that they played this as like a cheeky bit of self-serving wink humor?
It's
I think
that
that's the
old
only way it
British
works.
humor, you see.
Your accent's worse than
that's
mine
trans,
was.
that's like
Transatlantic.
transatlantic.
That's what it's good. We're on the Titanic. They're literally going across the Atlantic.
Yeah. Here's the Cavalcade challenge. When you get to that scene, stop it, watch Titanic, and then come back to the movie.
Yes.
No,
You can
I
do
don't
that with a lot of things here in this movie.
Yes.
Actually.
Good. No, I don't think he was in
You
on
get
the
to
joke.
World War I, you stop it, watch
All Quiet.
Watch Wings, and All Quiet on the Western Front.
No, but I agree with you I don't think he was in on a joke or anything. I think he was like this.
I loved it.
I mean, it was.
I mean, I
hilarious.
loved it
could
too.
do all
I
I
thought
loved
was,
it. We loved it.
Yeah.
We all love it. You're not arguing with anybody.
Okay.
You said that like you were like we didn't love it. You said that like we didn't love it.
Okay.
It was very fun. No, continue.
I love it. I think it's bad. I think it's bad filmmaking. I'm sure that all the people in 1933 were clapping like seals when they saw this happen on screen.
All I'm saying is I'm about to give Hitler's favorite movie 4.5 stars.
Oh my god.
Oh. So after the Titanic, which is again a hard cut into this Titanic scene and a very hard cut out of the Titanic scene. Again, this was not written for the play. It was written for the movie. So maybe perhaps that is why it feels so out of place. But I am glad that they included that in because it is very funny and iconic.
Awesome.
After this, we get into the era, of course, the mid-1910s. What happens then? We've talked about it many times before on this podcast. World War One.
I just think of the little title card they had from Wings where it just goes, War!
I miss Wings.
I know. I miss Wings too. She's still with us. But they go back to the well of dramatic irony for World War One, where father and son, the remaining son, the one who says, I wish Edward hadn't drowned on the Titanic, is talking to his dad, and they're both hyping each other up about going to World War One. As we've spoken about before, this was also patriotic duty to be part of this war. Many people were, again, volunteers to go be a part of this as they were in this movie. And with the dramatic irony here, they look at each other and they say, well, there's no way this could last that long. People will run out
War
of
will
money.
be over in just a couple of months.
Yeah. The whole movie is people just stopping short of looking in the camera, winking and saying, wow, it'd be crazy if this thing happened, but it won't. Hee hee.
It reminds me of a lot of discussion around movies today is that they're explaining the plot in the dialogue so people who are on their phones can
Right.
Yeah.
This is like they've been doing that. They're doing that in this movie essentially.
I think the key takeaway is audiences have not gotten smarter.
No, they haven't. There has always been brain rot. It has always existed, and it will never go away.
Our brains have been rotten for a really long time, and this is continuing to reflect that.
Yeah, we're not evolving. It's just like, okay.
We just replace one form of slop with another. You take one trough out, put another one in.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
So the son and the father, they're deciding that they want to go off to be in World War One. Their families really don't have a ton of issue with it because, again, at this point, no one really cared. Like, it's war. It'll be over soon. It's as it ever was. There is a scene where Joe, the son, is at a nightclub before he goes off to war. There's a performer there that him and his buddies are like, look at that hottie. That hottie for real. She be dancing in this review in this bar. And then they realize her name, and then the name is Fanny Bridges.
Oh my gosh, Fanny Bridges.
The daughter of the Bridges family. So Joe Marriott goes to rizz up Fanny Bridges by sneaking into her dressing room and watching her change, which is very creepy.
You know what they call Fanny Bridges in America?
Underwear.
I was going to say butt connections.
You stole that from me.
I didn't.
I know he didn't.
Got gaslit.
No, gaslight. We'll get to gaslight.
Yeah.
No, but Fanny Bridges, though, it is just like butt underwear. Fanny Bridges?
You can get Fanny Britches.
Don't.
That's what
they don't know that. They don't know that. They don't know that. They don't know
Their
that.
name is Bridges, like the thing that goes across water.
Yeah, but if we say it with an accent, it's Fanny Bridges, isn't it?
All right, we're going to need people in the comments to vote on who has the best British accent.
I'm going to go to Target and get me Fanny Bridges.
Anyway, Joe and Fanny reconnect. Of course, they rekindle, or they kindle up a romance. That's kind of it. He goes to war. They've got some scenes together. It's, I don't buy the romance. I don't buy
it. I don't buy
much about this movie at this point. Oh, there is a great scene I do want to highlight where the mom, she is seeing her son Joe off at the train before he leaves, and it is played by Dan Windward this whole time. It is spanning a period, 1899 to 1933, and Diane Windward stays the same age, obviously, the whole time. They put old makeup on her, but she is 27 throughout this whole movie, and Joe is 28, so she's literally younger than the actor playing her son.
That's funny.
Which is also, so this, me and Alexis clocked this watching this. I thought this was insane and really took me out of it. World War I starts around, like 1916, 19, like when these people are going off to war, it'd been like mid-1910s. I know they say the year, I can't remember exactly what it was. Probably around 1917. This movie starts in 1899, and the kids are like really young. Fanny is literally a baby. So she would be 17 at the time of like them reconnecting, him going off to war. These people look like they're in their mid-30s.
Yeah. Like,
it is a terrible use of aged actors. Like, I never bought. I was doing the math in my head. Like, this one, like, she should be like 16. And my God, she looks older than me.
Young people just looked older back then.
Yeah, true. But that really took me out of this whole thing. They have not revealed their relationship to their parents. I guess maybe because it would have been scandalous in some way. There's a scene where while he's off at war, the two moms meet up to talk about the relationship of their children, that they are together. And in that scene, they receive a letter, like, oh, mail time. They receive a letter that Joe has died.
Mail.
Yeah. Receive a letter that Joe has died in the war. Again, just really leaning into this stupid dramatic irony is just dripping throughout this whole movie.
What I thought was an interesting way of telegraphing this is she's standing there at the train station and lets her son go, and then another train rolls in, and it's a medical train. It's and it's just like full of dead bodies and stretchers and all these injured people, and they're just all walking right by her. And she has just sent her son away.
Right. And it's like, it's
deep.
Ironic foreshadowing. Yeah. There is a crazy World War I montage that does happen.
Honestly, very cool.
It is so of the time. Frank Lloyd did win Best Director for this, and I wonder if that scene was very groundbreaking.
Maybe, yeah.
With, it's the classic, very old movie where they have floating heads kind of going in and out of the scene, fade in, fade out, lots of explosions. It's really hard to describe exactly what it kind of looked like, but it was cool from a directorial lens.
There's actually a device that they use throughout the entire movie, too, that I don't think we even mentioned, and why this is called Cavalcade. Throughout all the different transitions in time, they show footage of a cavalcade of knights, medieval soldiers, and horses marching along, like time is marching along, and they'll project it into the sky as a metaphor as well. Like they use this throughout, and that's why that's why this has the title Cavalcade, is they're using that metaphor and the idea of like
time is marching along.
Exactly.
Yeah, cavalcade, I think the definition is like a procession of people, typically on horseback.
Yes.
So time is marching along, much like the British Empire.
Yeah.
So after Joe dies, the mother crashes out, of course, very naturally. Here we are then another skip forward to 1932, the tail end of 1932, New Year's Eve specifically, leading into 1933, which again takes the movie exactly from the turn of the 20th century up to the year that the movie was released. Jane and her husband, the Marriotts, are celebrating New Year's Eve. All of their children are dead. They're in hella old makeup. And it's a bittersweet ending. And maybe not even bittersweet. Maybe it might just be bitter.
There's another crazy montage before that, too, where they have the one that sort of describes it sort of like tumbles
you're
through
so right.
the post-World War I British politics and headlines.
It's actually a very cynical montage because it shows like the decay and the decline of the empire and the people who are actively dragging it down. And I see why Hitler enjoyed this.
Yeah. Well, I bring it up because of the historical context. Ultimately, the thesis of the movie is like, oh, look at where we are now. Everything's crazy, like...
Yeah. It's back in my day, it was much better.
Yeah. But it's also like, this is how we all got here, like, because of all this craziness. So it's like an interesting montage where it's just like you see like politicians shaking their fists and then headlines of all these different political scandals, giving you the context of like, yeah, the war's over, but it doesn't mean that things are necessarily peaceful.
Right.
It's like, we get it. Every one of these movies, we get it.
I mean, this movie lays it on thick with
but I know.
I'm trying to agree with your point. This movie lays it on thick with the whole like, war just ain't good for nothing. Every scene is just a wife or a mother at home going, I just don't get the point of war.
Okay, I guess we're in this house
I did that.
now?
I did simmer on there.
Oh God, no!
I did some Sabra.
You did Sabra. You channeled Sabra. The ghost of Sabra has infested him.
I just don't get why you're going off, Yancey. I gotta go. I got to. You don't understand. Tokyo's where all the best players are.
We'll never escape
Supreme is back.
Yancey Supreme.
Don't you know
left.
I missed it by just an inch there in London?
Drew keeps calling me and leaving voicemails with Yancey Supreme voice.
Yeah.
What kind of digs is this? I'm the best ping pong player in this world, and you got me in a shanty. Mr. Commissioner, I object.
Only we gotta let like Yancey Supreme take what he wants, don't we?
Okay.
And that's Cavalcade, everyone. That is our unhinged montage.
Simmer Cavalcade. That's
Poor
what it is.
Adam. He's like sitting at the kids' table.
That features our unhinged montage to show how did we get to where we are now.
Yeah.
The rot of the empire. Took a bit faster than we anticipated here.
Yeah.
But Cavalcade, as we have mentioned, it did win Best Picture. I have some thoughts about that, but before we get into that, we'll talk about the Oscar history at this time as well as some other nominees. So, a few interesting things about this specific, the 6th Oscars. We've talked before about Oscar eligibility periods. Up until now, the period of time where movies were considered for the Academy Awards ran from August to August each year. This was incredibly stupid, and the Academy made the decision to change that period using a single shock, making the new timeline an annual one. So, for this specific ceremony, that meant that the eligibility period was from August 1932 to December 31st, 1933. This means that 1933 is the only calendar year that did not have an Oscars ceremony. A few other funky things about the 6th Oscars ceremony, which did take place on March 16th, 1934. First was the introduction of a short-lived tradition where third and second place were announced during the ceremony for each of the awards.
Okay. What? Did they play the national anthem of every...
Right. And we'll see why this is a terrible idea in just a second. But this would change when accounting firm Price Waterhouse and Company, not yet Price Waterhouse Cooper, began tabulating votes only 2 years later. So they have been tied to the Oscars since 19...
I did not know that.
Yeah, very fascinating. I thought that was really cool.
Who?
They do the little thing, like at the ceremony where they show the accountants like walking down the red carpet with like metal briefcases.
But yeah, they work for PricewaterhouseCoopers. So the fact that relationship is nearly 100 years old, I was shocked by that. I thought very cool.
That's pretty crazy.
But relating to this, the second and third, we had a wee bit of Oscars trolling by the host, humorist Will Cooper. When announcing the winner of Best Director, Cooper spoke of his friend Frank and about Frank's rise to prominence before finally saying for the winner, "Come and get it, Frank." The problem was there were 2 Franks.
Wow.
So Frank Capra, the future director of It's a Wonderful Life, nominated at this ceremony as director for Lady for a Day, he rose out of his seat and got halfway to the podium before he realized it was in fact Frank Lloyd who was the winner for Cavalcade.
Nice. Oh, Cooper.
I know.
That's good.
Capra called his return to his seat the longest crawl in history.
Yeah, the walk of shame.
Very savage. He would do the same thing to the Best Actress nominees that night. He would keep like inviting them up to the table, but it was Katharine Hepburn, who won, wasn't even there. So I think like ultimately that's probably why they stopped doing the second and third place thing, because this guy trolled it out of existence.
Yeah.
I love that.
So at the ceremony, Cavalcade, of course, went on to win Outstanding Production, in addition to Best Director for Frank Lloyd and Art Direction. There were 9 other films up for Outstanding Production. So, like I said, they announced second and third place at the ceremony. So I'll say second and third place first. Second place went to A Farewell to Arms, an adaptation of the Ernest Hemingway World War I novel in which an American ambulance driver falls in love with an English nurse. This one was actually directed by 2-time Best Director winner Frank Borzage. So he must have left Cavalcade to work on A Farewell to Arms. I watched this one. So I will say, I'm trying to do a little bit better about watching more of the movies nominated for each
This guy's
ceremony.
got all the time in the world.
I know. Well, some of them are short. And I watch the ones that are short and that are free.
I see.
Did I watch them like eminently closely? Not particularly, but if they're interesting, I will, see what grabs my attention. This one I didn't really care for. It's just another World War I movie. There's a montage in this one that is a much better version of the World War I montage that's in Cavalcade. So I was much more impressed with the one in A Farewell to Arms. But ultimately, it's one of those movies where the romance doesn't grab me.
Yeah.
And if the romance is bad in a movie where the central thing is the romance, sort of a...
What are we doing here?
Yeah, what are we doing here? It looked good, though. It won Best Cinematography, and it was very pretty.
Yeah.
In third place was Little Women, tried and true story by Louisa May Alcott, featuring a very legendary cast and crew. This was directed by George Cukor, who will get his Oscars moment in the future. It also starred Katharine Hepburn. As I mentioned, she did win Best Actress this year, not for this movie, not for Little Women, instead for a movie called Morning Glory. And she was, as I said, a no-show at the ceremony for the first of her 4 Oscar wins.
Wow. She penned it.
Yeah. She did not care. I'm curious. I didn't see what she was doing, but good for her. Now, for the movies that couldn't hit the podium, first is I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang, a movie about a World War I veteran who gets caught up in a robbery while trying to get back into society, and he is sent to work on a chain gang in the South. Next is Lady for a Day. This is the Frank Capra helmed Best Director runner-up. It's essentially Pretty Woman, where a gangster tries to make a Times Square apple seller a, quote, lady for a day. pretty
In like a
straightforward.
jokey way where it's like, I bet I could met her a date.
I mean, I assume so.
Gussied her up.
Yeah, he's got a giant cigar and a pinstripe suit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like look too much into this one because it did not sound that interesting
That
to
sounds
me.
awesome.
Really weird thing to be in the conversation for Best Director. Next one.
When they've got the Best Actor presentation and they've got the presenter reading out descriptions of the characters.
Right.
And it's like a grizzled war veteran from World War One, or and then they turn to him and go, a disheveled apple seller. You brought light to the little apple seller.
There's no longer apple sellers in New York. There's just cracked out Elmos.
Yes. Yeah.
So, it's very similar to that. We had grifters even back then in New York Times Square. Next one is The Private Life of Henry VIII, which I don't know if you guys
What's
are
that one
familiar
about?
with the story.
Henry VIII is a bad person.
Henry VIII is exhausting. I mean, there's so many stories about Henry VIII. It's like,
Moving
truly,
on.
we get it.
We get it. Yeah, we're done.
Like Henry VIII, Shakespeare, World War I. We hadn't invented original ideas yet. This was about, of course, King Henry VIII and his many wives. It gave Charles Laughton the Oscar for Best Actor. He was the first actor to win an Oscar for performance in a British-produced film.
Huh.
I did watch this one as well. Nothing really notable. It was more satirical than I expected for this. Charles Laughton gives a perfectly fine performance. He's really just like chewing the scenery as a big character the whole time.
Yeah,
so I see like why he won, but overall not a super interesting movie. And there's a lot of other better Henry VIII material out there, I would say. Next was She Done Him Wrong. It was a Mae West led movie.
Mae West.
Mae West, sorry.
I knew she would come up. I love Mae West.
But in this movie, she plays a seductive nightclub singer with multiple suitors.
Nice.
Good for her. Good for her.
Good for her.
That should do him wrong.
I assume so. At least one of them.
God, she's iconic.
Next is Smilin' Through, which is a movie where the
name.
the name betrays the story because, quote, it is about the adoptive father of a young woman is horrified to learn she plans to marry the son of the man who accidentally killed her aunt years before. Yeah, it's like one of those it's a my cousin's brother-in-law's roommate sort of connection.
Nice.
Very strange. Next is State Fair. It's about a family who spends the week at the Iowa State Fair. Groundbreaking stuff.
Sounds like a Sean Baker movie.
No, it doesn't.
If it were a Sean Baker movie, it would be about the guy who takes tickets at the Tilt-A-Whirl.
No, I was going to say it's the guy who sells butterfly knives to middle schoolers in like not the state fair, but the local town.
The county fair.
Yeah.
I love
That's Sean Baker.
I love a county fair.
And then lastly, there's 42nd Street. I actually did watch this one as well. I believed it was an iconic musical. I had high hopes it would be a fun musical. It's just one of those movies of the time where the musical is not actually a musical. It's about people making a musical.
It's Broadway Melody.
It's very similar to Broadway Melody, where like the actual fun musical stuff does not happen until the last 15 minutes. The last 15 minutes of this movie is awesome. Super cool, really great choreography, really great set design, fantastic stuff. The rest of the movie sucks and is really boring. So I was very disappointed by this one relative to my expectations. Last bit about the sixth ceremony. The same day as the ceremony, there was a newspaper article that coined the term Oscar for the first time publicly. Though the Academy wouldn't formally embrace this name until 1939.
Do we know why it's called that?
There's a lot of apocryphal stories about why it's called that. Some people say they refer to it as my Uncle Oscar. I think they said the statue looked like someone. I think there's a lot of in-jokes. A lot of people have tried to claim that I'm the person who called it Oscars the first. But ultimately, it's just kind of one of those things that I think is lost to time. We'll never really know exactly why. It's
Yeah.
kind of a fun. It probably was just some
There's
weird
there's probably 7 different people living in like Benedict Canyon who all lay claim to
Exactly.
naming the Oscar.
Totally. So I will posit this to the group. I've watched quite a few of these other ones, so I can say first whether this was a deserved win or not. I would say based solely on the merits of this movie, not really.
I don't need to watch any other movie to know that this was bad and I don't like it and it shouldn't have been nominated.
I can feel this one winning basically on like political grounds where it's like, oh, it's just so of the moment.
Right. No, it was like a prestige type of thing.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's just winning the Oscars for the wrong reason. I'm sure it was successful at the time. Again, like...
There's maybe a little bit of Anglophilia also in influencing.
Right.
Ooh.
But I will say, what I will say is, of the other movies that I watched that were nominated for Best Picture, I was not particularly impressed with any of them. I would say the one that I actually enjoyed the most was the Henry VIII one, and even then I gave that like a light 3 stars. So none of them really grabbed me. But what I will say, another movie came out in 1933 that realistically should have won Best Picture, and that is King Kong.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, King Kong. The original King Kong is, besides being very racist, like a really good, cool, would have been a very deserving Best Picture winner. Push the form, really entertaining,
Yeah.
like really, really cool stuff.
I tell you
with
what,
that movie.
they don't have any characters from Cavalcade on Universal City Walk. They got King Kong there. They got a big old blue King Kong.
They do have a big old blue King Kong. I
right
love
next
seeing
to
that.
the
David Buster's.
Voodoo Donuts?
I was gonna say the Bubba Gump Shrimp.
Yes. One Best Picture winner and one should have been Best Picture winner, right next to each other.
Yes.
Have you seen the original King Kong, Drew?
A long time ago.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I've seen parts of it at least. As you said, like push the form a little bit more.
Yeah, but I was like disappointed overall with the quality of the Best Picture nominees this year, including, of course, the winner. So, such a bummer. However, this has spurred some fun discussion, and the discussion I want to move to is the brain rot, which I think will be a very fun one for this one. So, we've had Fantasia 2000. We had Fantasia early on in the 1940s, and we had Fantasia 2000. They rebooted for that. Now it's time for Cavalcade 2000. A movie that starts on Y2K itself, or the eve of Y2K, December 31st, 1999. What historical events would they tackle?
Hey, to the end of the world in the first scene.
Oh, jeez. Well, I would have been 3 months old, so there's that.
Are you the main character? Are you
I am the main
Fanny?
character.
Are you
I am
Fanny Bridges?
I am Fanny Bridges. I was born September 16th, 1999.
Wow.
And
Okay.
a few months later, I made it.
Yeah.
I made it past the hump.
Okay, so this is great. You are the main character
I am the
of
main
Cavalcade 2000.
Yes.
Do you
because
think-
I wish I was born. I was 3 months away from being born in 2000. I was so close. But I don't know. They kept me in there longer.
It would be only the second scene.
Right. I like, how would they tackle
it would be only the second scene, but I hope that they pull the same exact thing that they did in the Titanic.
Well, they already did that with that Robert Pattinson movie.
Exactly. I hope they do that though, where he checks into his new job on September 11th, 2001. Yeah.
So my problem with that in relation to Cavalcade 2000 is it's so early.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
can't
Wait,
establish the character.
What happened to me being the main character?
Well, Cavalcade has multiple main characters, so
Okay.
you're
Yes.
one of the many main characters.
Rotating cast.
This is
How do I
following
make this about me?
This is following the father of the rich family that you work for.
Yeah.
He is an
He
investment
gets-
banker who died at 9/11.
Exactly. And then the son gets sent off to the Iraq War. Like, I gotta do it. I gotta do this for my country. And then he goes off.
And then you pause the movie and you watch Jarhead.
Yeah.
And you come back to it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, Iraq War, of course, that would be
Iraq and Afghanistan,
major-
something like that. You have, like, in Cavalcade, you have people sitting in an auditorium watching a musical. They're watching, probably around this time, it would be like... Wicked? Yeah, literally, it would be, they're watching Wicked, and someone runs on the stage and goes, "They got Bin Laden!"
Oh my God.
That actually would be, when did that happen?
That was
like mid
2012.
Yeah. So I think that would be more like Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
That they would be rushing.
Wicked
on
was
stage
definitely
for.
big.
No, Wicked was like 2003.
Yeah.
That would be the start of the
Yeah.
war. We're missing, we're skipping
else
over
happened?
the Great Recession.
The Great Recession.
That would
was
be,
happens.
there wasn't really a catalyzing event with that. Maybe the fall of Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers and such. Not super interesting.
It would be them like, I just bought property down in Florida.
Yeah,
we gotta be rich.
Yeah, how much dramatic irony can we fit into this movie? That's a good
Exactly.
one. That's a really good one.
I told you, honey, I'd always get us that vacation home.
You've got like Obama era Hope Corps. I mean, that's all mixed up in this time frame as well, of course. And then of course we get to 2016.
Yes, exactly.
Harambe.
Yeah, I was. You beat me to it. You beat me to it. They go to the was it the Columbus Zoo? And one of them has a new baby.
That is too good.
They drop into the enclosure.
They shoot him, and then it's like we're all screwed.
Yeah.
And then that is what sets off the final montage.
Yes, exactly.
Trump.
The Trump years are just like that ending montage of Cavalcade, but the catalyst event is not the sun dying; it's Harambe
Harambe
dying.
It's Harambe dying. Yes.
We did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
We wrote Cavalcade 2000.
Yeah. Yeah. It just goes. Trump, COVID.
Yeah.
Biden, Trump.
And then it's just whoever the main characters are at the end of this, just, swilling their buzz balls and saying, man, it all goes back to Harambe, doesn't it?
That's literally us on
in 19 what is it under it would be like in 2033 they're looking back and go, well, good thing we got old Newsom in office now. Things are back to normal. Oh God, I will do everything in my power to make that movie happen.
You can find us at bestpicturebrainrot@gmail.com. Screenwriters or producers, rather.
Yeah.
Our inbox is open. But yeah, so we all know the Cavalcade 2000's 5-star movie, but what is the original Cavalcade?
2.
I'm at 2 as well.
2.5, probably more than 2.
Yeah. Well, you gotta commit. Because we need to know if we're in sync.
2 with the heart.
2 with the...
You said everything.
Ew. Boo.
The heart is because I kind of liked it.
Oh my God! Just say
You liked it?
Just say it with your
Is
chest.
it just because
Like,
of
it's
the
not good, but I
Titanic
kind of
scene?
liked it. I was like,
Okay.
I like this format. I'm dumb, and I like this format. I like a Forrest Gump. I like a Gumpian ethos.
Well, the thing is, I do like Forrest Gump.
Yes.
I love Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
This was boring.
Yeah.
They get.
Totally. No, I completely agree. I will say, I think it's pretty bad. It's probably maybe a little overhated. I think people say this is like one of the worst Best Pictures
I think
of all time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I necessarily agree with that. Cimarron is worse, in my opinion. And Broadway Melody is for sure worse. I think we can all agree
Broadway
on
Melody
that.
is the worst. That was the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire adult life.
I feel similarly about Cimarron as I do Cavalcade. They're kind of similar ideas.
They are actually, yeah. Cimarron is essentially an American take on this epic, whereas Cavalcade's a British take on the idea of a historical epic and, oh, look at that thing that I know happened.
It's a dad movie.
Yeah.
It's a dad movie. It's like,
I think British dads are like... British dads in 1940 were like, well, let me tell you about Cavalcade.
Like, oh, watch Cavalcade.
Let me tell you about Cavalcade,
Let me tell you about Cavalcade.
So we all agree. Well, no, we don't agree because I'm saying 2, Sarah's saying 2, and we're giving Drew 2.5. He wants it.
He wants to be contrarian.
No, I just remembered this is Hitler's favorite movie, so I have to give it a 2.
Terrible reason to lower your score.
Yeah, like what? Okay, well, if I'm Jewish and this is Hitler's favorite movie, I'm going to give it 5 stars just to show him.
Join us next week as we fall in love with the first ever rom-com to win Best Picture. Because I do not consider Broadway Melody to be neither romantic nor comedy, if anyone's going to come for me for saying that.
What?
But this is 1934's It Happened One Night. This is the first Best Picture winner that I have seen previously. Very excited to rewatch.
Okay.
I bet they hook up.
You'll have to see.
Is that what happened one night?